Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so yeah, went out, got my rice, got some more pomegranates as I love to do while they're still in season, trying to eat them as much as possible. And ain't been much to it. Climbed the hills over in Hollywood as I often try to do, get a little exercise, and came on back, man. Nothing abnormal about this day other than my phone acting up, but you know, it is what it is. That's part of it. And the battery seems to be dying 3 times faster too, which is another thing that's kind of strange. But yeah, man, just wanted to turn on the camera and see what came out. I don't really know what I'm gonna talk about, to be honest with you. And most of the time I don't. But by the end of it, I end up having something cohesive. I can tell you, I'm feeling a little tired, I guess is the word. As I was telling you guys, I'm motivating myself to be consistent. It's been a little more of a challenge, but I haven't failed in winning these battles. I did my hundreds workouts yesterday and the day before, even though I didn't feel like doing them. You know, just little stuff like that. It's been kind of a little more of a battle for me over the last, say, 3-4 days. But you know, still winning. But just a little tired. I don't know what the heck that's about, but I just push through it. Maybe it's just age, you know what I mean? Just getting older, I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with my stomach issues. I have no idea. But, you know, trying to push through it and just staying ready for whatever needs to be taking place in regards to my grandfather's funeral. I haven't heard from my uncle yet, but you know, I don't imagine it would be done like this weekend or nothing like that. Usually stuff like this, in my experience, is anywhere from like 3 weeks to like 5 weeks sometimes takes to get everything straightened out. So I really don't know. They would have to fly him out to California and get everything straightened out in that way. I think they may have a service back east for him first, so I don't expect this gonna happen that soon, but I don't know. But I do have a few people that want information on the service. If there's a streaming process, I'm sure, I think my uncle will probably stream it. I'll make sure that the people who are asking for it get a chance to see the service, because you know, it's a couple people who want to come in but probably won't be able to make it in time or what have you. Don't have the money to come out to California right now, but they want to pay respect. So I will try to provide that link when that information comes my way. So that's what it is, man. But yeah, man, just chilling, just trying to cope with the circumstance. Kind of want to get through this, you know. I don't want to say get it over with, because that's such a dismissive attitude about the situation. But you know, in these type of things, you'd rather fast forward past them. You know what I mean? That's the truth. But I will get a chance to see some people I haven't seen in a long time, and I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But I would be lying if I said I was looking forward to this. I'm not dreading it like I have in certain other situations, though. I can say that much too. It's not like I'm like, oh my God, we got to do this, or I really don't want to do this. It's not even that. It's really not like that for me in regards to this particular passing. But you know, you don't want to linger in a space where you have uncertainty in regards to your immediate future. The way that I am systematically, I'm you know, this is going to take me out of my system, and that's always a struggle for somebody like myself. And no matter what the change is, it could be a great change. It's still going to be some type of adjustment. But you know, as I was telling myself a few days ago, when I got the information, I'm in a much better place to present myself to people I haven't seen in a while right now than I was, say, a year ago or 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Where it was awkward because I had a weed habit that I couldn't shake at the time, didn't want to shake. And, you know, in a situation like this, I'd be like, well, do I bring my weed with me, or how am I going to be able to smoke while I'm gone? I don't want to be gone too long. Like, that type of thing was real for me about 2 years ago. And now, that's just not even in my life. That's not even in my life, man. And so that part is really different in regards to, I present myself better. I don't have myself hanging on to vices that need to be met in order for me to be comfortable. You know, without all that stuff in my life, I can move around and be free to be around people and comfortable, and you know, not wondering if I don't have what I need, or wondering if they're going to realize that I'm high or that I have a weed problem or something like that. The problem is just not in place in this era of my life. And so I think that's a much better way to, respect myself, I guess you can say, especially when you have something like this to do. I'm a very proud man's only grandson, you know what I mean? So me going up there with the black lips, eyes red, like I would have if this happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, just ain't how I want. That's how I want to represent myself to people that probably never met me but have heard of me a lot, or people who haven't seen me since I was a young child or whatever. Fresno, I ain't been to Fresno since I was like maybe 21 or something like that. So it's been a long time, and I have some good memories up there in Fresno with my uncles and my grandmother's family. You know, they're family to me too, but not by blood. Not by blood, but it is my uncle's mom's side family, and they've been really good to me all my life. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that side of the family. The Wallers, real wonderful people, man. And they've always been there for me. They came up, all the four of my grandmother's brothers. I think it's four of them. Might have been three, but I think it's four of them. Came up for my grandmother's funeral, my mom's mom, and they came up to Oakland for her passing and for her funeral, and that was really, really awesome to see them represent that side of the family in that way. They don't have ties to my grandmother in Oakland. They didn't have ties like that, but they love my mother, love myself that much. They respected my grandmother that much. They came down. So, I always revered them for that and many other instances where they showed up for my family and for myself. And so, that's a really, really strong representation of morals and integrity in my life, even though they're not my blood. They always treated me like I was, you know what I mean? They always treated me and my mother like they were. And I think the good thing also is that my mom was really close to one of the brothers, because they also worked with one another in Oakland back in the 70s. So it was like they had a different type of friendship that kind of carried over. So I think that was part of why they came up to Oakland for my grandmother's funeral, because my Uncle Nick and my mom were so close. So that's really cool too. I'm pretty certain I'll be able to see Uncle Nick. I'm pretty sure he'll come up for the funeral. It'll be good to see him, and all the other Wallers too. We know we lost one or two of them. I think we lost one of them, the older senior. But yeah, man, it's this type of stuff that comes to mind. You just think about people you ain't seen in a long time, and some of the cousins over there and stuff like that I remember seeing a lot of times. It's gonna be good to see those folks if they show. And so, that's something I'm thinking about right now. So it's not all bad. That's what I want people to understand. I'm going into a space where, even though I'm going to be burying my grandfather, I'm going to be really running into some really, really loved ones, real solid individuals that I know are going to show up for him, that were always showing up for us when he was alive, supporting him in every way. They came to my mother's funeral, of course, showing up for myself and my grandfather, and my uncle. So it's gonna be great to see those folks. So that's really what it is, man. I actually am looking forward to certain aspects of this circumstance, and that's kind of what I was telling the lady that works at where I live. And, she was saying that you're gonna see people you haven't seen in a long time. It might turn out to be more positive than sorrow, and I agree. A lot of times that's what ends up happening in the funerals. When a family member passes away, you see people you ain't seen in a long time. Just like when my nieces both passed, and I went up for both of those funerals. Got a chance to see my siblings, got a chance to see people I hadn't seen in a long time. Meet some people I'd never met that I'm related to. So that was important. And sometimes it's the only thing that brings people together in that way. So, you know what I mean? It just is what it is. This is part of life, man. I appreciate that the Lord has given me an experience in life where this doesn't come around too often for me. For some, it does. And I respect that could change or what have you. I've lost a lot of people, but not really close up together. Except for my parents, ironically, the most close of them. I lost both of them in a matter of 9 months, but it was kind of I don't know. It didn't feel like as bad as it was at the time, I guess is what I can say. The Lord brought me through that very strong when I lost both of my parents. It wasn't like I was crumbling from one end to the next. It wasn't that was not the situation there for me. But, I mean, it lingers, man. I think about my uncle right now as he's going through that. He lost his mom, 4 years ago? Lost his dad, of course, just now. So, it's probably difficult. But what I will say is, anybody who has their parents alive with them today, you're really blessed to have them. Maybe they're not the greatest people. Maybe they are. I don't know. Everybody's parents, everybody has different experiences with that. And for those who have terrible parents, you probably ain't going to feel what I'm saying. But you're really blessed to have your parents in your life, man. Those of us who still have them, sometimes we take our folks for granted. We see that call, roll our eyes. But I'm telling you, when them calls stop coming, it gets different. It gets real different, man. It ain't what you think. Sometimes you wish they would call and bother you, call you while somebody's over or something like that. Stuff that you don't welcome in your life when they're here. When they're gone, it's like, all right, yeah, it would be great to have my mom call me and ask me to go somewhere that I don't want to go. You know what I mean? It would be great to hear her call and just complain about my weed habit. Like, these are the type of things that just don't stay in your life forever. And those of us who have our parents live into your 40s and 50s, that's a real blessing, man. If you get your mom and see your grandkids, her great grandkids or what have you. Not all of us get that, man. I lost my mom and dad when I was 31 years old, and some lose their parents much sooner than that. So as I consider my uncle, he had his parents well into his, I don't know where he is right now, but in I'd imagine his 60s at this point. That's a blessing. It's a real blessing, man. A man's walking by with a rest in peace mom shirt on right now. It's crazy how that works, but that's the truth. It's one of them situations where we don't often have that figure in our life forever. And for me, I was lucky to have a grandfather all the way till I was 40. But now that figure is gone. I don't have any more parental figures. So for me, I just want people to understand, it was a lot of times when my mom called, I didn't want to answer the phone. It was a lot of times my mom showed up and asked me to go somewhere. I said no, I didn't want to go. And there was a lot of times when I argued with my mother about stuff that is frivolous right now, but since meant so much at the time. There's a lot of times, man, where my dad's birthday came around and I didn't call. Stuff like that. It's like, in the moment, you don't think nothing of it. When the people gone, it's like you go through a lot of different feelings about that, depending on who you are and what your mental makeup is. For me, it's just like I wish those folks were around so I could hear from them, or whatever the case may be. So that's what it is for me, man. But I was also blessed to have good folks in that way, man. And so for those of us who have abusive parents or awful human beings that represent our family, it may not be the same thing, man. I get that. Some people need to get their parents out of their lives fast. I respect that. It took a while for me to get around to understand that everybody was nice like my mom. Not everybody was solid like my dad, you know what I mean? And some people have closer relationships than I had. Like, my father wasn't in the household. Some of y'all know it's a different relationship. Some of y'all was raised by your grandparents. So when you lose granddad, it's different than maybe what I experienced. But just the same, it matters that not only that we have those relationships with the people that we love that were behind us, but also that we carry those relationships forward. I was talking to a friend of mine very recently, and she was essentially telling me that, her brother, he's not in the kid's life like he should be. He bring home the bacon, but he ain't really hands-on with his little daughter. And it's like, maybe you can't be at two places at once. Maybe that's this dynamic, but at the same time, it's like, when you're fortunate enough to have your mom in your life, in his case, for which I know for a fact, his mom was close. It was one of them situations where I know how important it is for him to carry forth that same energy that was given to him by his mom to his daughters, you know what I mean? And so I'm rooting for him to find a way to balance that out, to be able to both get the money he needs to take care of them, but also be in their life in the moments that matter the most. Not just the big occasions, but like when she come home from school, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Just be ready for availability. And so it's not on me to say, hey, why that man ain't doing, but more so, hopefully he can find a way to manage his time so that he can be around for his children. So that's really what it is, man. I didn't want to get into a conversation about other people's business like that, but maybe this can help you as well, to just say that, you know, you may not be able to be in two places at one time. Maybe you're having a hard time figuring out how to balance out both the responsibilities financially and in the presence of others who may need you. But I think at the end of the day, you do the best you can and you fit both into your life to the best of your abilities. That's the best thing I can say for anybody. Do the best you can, man. Do the best you can. Use your phone. We're in a space right now where you can FaceTime people. You got to use that tool, man. I can take 5 minutes to go to the bathroom, FaceTime somebody, you know, that kind of thing. It might be the best way to keep that relationship strong while not being present with that person. So that's really what I have to say about that, man. I think relationships is for people like myself who have anxiety and stuff like that. You may not always want to talk to people. You may not, you know what I mean? You may want to be in your own bubble like I am, but I think at the end of the day, when people are gone for good, that bubble don't hold as much weight. You're permanently in that bubble even when you don't feel like it, you know what I mean? So step out of it with respect to that, because they could be gone, man. They could be gone. You could be gone. We don't know what the future holds. So that's what I want to say to everybody, man. Love your loved ones. Love yourself enough to love your loved ones. That's an important part of it. Love yourself enough. Don't allow yourself to be in such a bad space mentally because of things that didn't go right or because of things you didn't accomplish, that you don't want to present yourself to the people that love you, who will accept you no matter what. Because that was what, of course, I was referring to earlier. When I had my weed problem, when I was sitting up in my dark space, unhappy about every damn thing. And sometimes you might push yourself away from people, not because of anything they did or anything that they ultimately caused, but because you may not be happy with where you are in your life. My opinion is to try to straighten out those aspects of your life in the moment, in the dark, when you have the time to do it, so that when it's time to present yourself to your people at any given moment, you feel comfortable enough to do that. Because that was my problem a lot during my 20s. I didn't want to. I'm high, I'm doing this, I'm watching that, I'm doing stuff I ain't got no business doing, and because of it, I'm not there to present myself to my family when they need it. And then people pass away, and now you're in a better space, but you can't present yourself in any way. So it's like, get your life together to the best of your ability. That way, when those people need you, you're in your best space to present yourself in the moment. That's some advice I can definitely tell people. You take care of yourself so that you'll be, at any given moment, confident enough to step in the lives of people who need to see you in their best light, and you'll be that. You know what I'm saying? That's a real one right there for a lot of us who struggle with addiction, who struggle with whatever, and just don't want people to see us at our worst. You gotta work that stuff out. It'll rob you of the opportunities to be around people that you may not have for a long time. So that's what I want to say, man. I knew this video would come out to be something. Hope I helped somebody. BDF44, thank you all for watching. I'm out.